And I'm Noah.
And today we're torturing our dad with Machi Koro. It's Machi Koro, the Harbour and Millionaires Row expansion. So it has 2 expansions in one box, including
And it's got the base game too.
Yeah. And it's a game by Masao
Sagoma.
Interesting name. The blood
Complicated
says,
name.
"Welcome back to Machi Koro!
Hello.
The bustling city of Machi Koro continues to thrive thanks to your efforts. But your duties as mayor have gotten more complicated.
I thought you were reading
Okay.
it.
You are now in charge of overseeing the commerce in and out of the adjoining harbour, and you must also look out for new developments that have sprung up in your cities, weatherless districts. Are you up for the task? This box contains Machi Koro's first 2 expansions, Harbour and Millionaires Row, and a copy of the base game is required to play. You can add the expansions to your... Yeah, I really don't need to say this, do I? It's 2 to 5 players.
50 minutes long.
No, 30 minutes long.
Oh, it does say 30. I thought it said 50.
And it's age 10 plus, and it also has 2 other companies that worked with it.
No, that's not companies. That's what rewards they got. So the Dice Tower Seal of Excellence and recommends Shut Up and Sit Down. Recommends this game. Like, that was more complicated than it needed to be.
We can't really shut up and sit down while we're playing a game that requires talking. Let us see how Dad gets on. Hello, I'm Eden.
And I'm Noah.
And this is
Dad.
Dad.
And today we are torturing him.
Hello.
Today we are torturing him again with a game. Gonna give him the game. He's gonna fill the pieces. He's gonna guess the game and then explain it.
Right, let's welcome in the game. The game has been welcomed. Da, 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 da.
Okay. Right. It's that way up, is it?
Yep.
Okay. Excellent. So it's a nice kind of slightly raised. Oh, I reckon I could probably guess it from that.
What?
I'm not entirely sure what it is. Ooh, no. Kind of nice plastic smell. I've got a feeling I know what this is. Yes, I know exactly what this is. This is Machi Koro.
Yeah.
And it's Machi Koro. I've put those in so that the cards stay in.
And don't fall out everywhere.
That's enough. This is actually the. Is it that way up?
Yeah, it's that way up.
Yep. So this is actually the I think it's the 5th anniversary expansion box. It's got the Harbour expansion and the Millionaires Row. Is it? I think it's got that in it.
And I think it's got the normal.
Yes, so it's got the normal cards in there as well, and so on. So Machi Koro is a lovely little game. It's a kind of engine building, tableau building game where you start off with just a few coins, of which there are many of various different denominations, and with a couple of cards. Now I've got to work out which one they are. Is it these ones?
Yep. 1, 2, 5,
So,
10.
You start with
20s and 30s eventually.
so you start with a couple of basic cards, a blue one and a green one. Oh
Yeah.
no, that's not the ones. Somewhere here
No.
we've got some not very matching cards, but
we don't like matching things.
you know it basically works. So you start with 2 properties. One is like a farm, and the other one's like a
Wheatfield and a
Farm and a
cafe.
cafe.
Wheatfield and cafe. There we go. The blue cards, and this is consistent all through all of the games, all of the expansions and so on. The blue cards are ones that happen to you. And you'll see a few of those on anybody's turn. Yes. So you might get some coins, you might get a little advantage or so on. The yellow cards, they're construction projects. Hopefully you can see those well. The other way up. And they are basically the game-winning thing. So as you go through the game, you try and buy these. There's a little cost in the bottom corner or the top corner or somewhere. And
No, that's the town.
You have to pay those as you go. In the base game, there's 4 of those. Stop. In the base game, there's 4 of those, and then there's a few more as the expansions come in as well, including ones that are always being done, so always active. And as you build them, you get extra little advantages, which I'll explain a little bit about in a minute. And you obviously build up your city as you go. Now, to build up your city, you are going to buy different cards. So there's loads of different ones, and these should all be mixed up.
They're all the wrong way up.
Oh, the wrong way up.
Wrong way around, other way up.
No! Yes! Finally!
Excellent. So there we go. These are all mixed up, and they're all mixed up because with expansions you play the game slightly differently. So with just the base game, you'll start off with piles of all the different types of ones. They go from one coin up to 12 coins to buy them, or up to 12.
I think it goes up to 14.
Yeah, so the numbers go up. I should probably explain how you actually buy these things. So the way it works, we've got a couple of dice in here. You start off with just one that you can roll, and as you go through the game, you're going to buy various enhancement, various different buildings, including those yellow construction, and I can't remember what the name of them is, but they've got a special symbol on them. Landmarks, that's the word. And one of those landmarks allows you to bring in a second die. So as you do that, what happens is you can then use 2 dice to score the higher value properties. The pile of cards has gone.
I was just looking for the highest number.
So on the cards, you've got a number up the top, which is the number. If you roll it, that card activates. This number has
8, and it's upside down.
This one has an 8. If you were to roll an 8, you would obviously need 2 dice to do that. So it would be a card maybe you'd want a bit later in the game. Then it would activate whatever that thing is at the bottom. And some give you 1 coin, some give you 5, some give you 3. Some allow you to do things with other cards if you've got a certain amount of things. Now, so you can build those up, and some sort of knock on. There's red cards, and those ones you get money from other people. So if the project child here, if he was to roll, say a 3, if he was to roll a 3, and you, if he was to roll a 3, and you had a cafe, then he would give you some money. If then you rolled a 3 and he had a cafe, then he would also he would get money from you. So red cards do that. They're like taxes, I guess, or you paying for services. There's green cards where it activates and just on your turn. So they're often better scoring things. You might get 3 coins, but you'd only get that on your turn. And then with the expansions, you've got extra bits and pieces as well. So in here, you've got some that are
Circle?
20 coins, so they give you, it's just as you earn more money, because some of the expansion landmarks actually cost quite a lot. And also there's some cards about making construction sites, so you can get back the money if you're struggling a bit, and you activate a construction site, but then you have to build that landmark again. So there's some really nice mechanisms that come in with the Harbour and the Millionaire's Row expansions. It is a great little game. With the expansions, you put out, I think it's 10 piles that are just they change the what comes out.
With the normal game.
With the normal game,
You
can see all the different possible cards. So actually, the expansion kind of makes it a little bit, or the expansions make it longer, but they get some of those higher powered cards out possibly later. But you can't necessarily plan your strategy as well. It's very, very simple. It takes up quite a lot of table space. if
really
if you
fun.
build a really big city. But of course, there's a lot of take that in there, because you're suddenly, oh, you owe me money, and then if a person can't pay, then they obviously there's a mechanism for that. And the system is quite nice in that the first thing that happens is the active player who's just rolled the dice has to pay any money that's due. So like with the cafes, if they needed to pay three coins, then they do that first. But if they don't have those coins, then that's all done. All debts are cleared. And then they collect their revenue, and then they buy.
There's been some really funny things with that. You've
got one dice roll, apart from if you've got a mechanism or a property that allows you to do more than that. And then you can only ever buy one thing. So you have to obviously manage. If you're trying to save up for things, you've got to be careful, because people might steal your money and take it as costs for things. And if you're trying to obviously, you need to build up that money slowly. It's a lovely little game. It works really nicely, and it can play anywhere, goodness knows, between half an hour and an hour. I mean, maybe you could get through it in 2 minutes if people are 20 minutes if people are concentrating and actually taking times. But when you've got daydreamers around the table, it definitely takes longer. The art's lovely as well. It's really clear. It's really obvious, and I'd say pretty much you can teach it in 5 minutes, and then just add little things as you go through. So a really, really nice little game to play.
You can find some really, really funny moments with the red ones as well. When everybody's got so much money, then they roll a 3.
Yep. I didn't make it entirely clear. These cards, the construction sites, the landmarks, start off like that, and then as you buy them, you turn them over, and they give you. It says on both sides what the advantage is, but it tells you on there, so you can play with those as well. And I think that was it. Let me. So that's an example of a green card. It's on your turn only. You've got red cards where it's on an opponent's turn. So if an opponent rolls 1, obviously that's completely useless if once you're only playing with 2 dice. But you can choose whether to play 2 dice or not. And then you've got a blue one as well, and that's anyone's turn. You would get that. And there's purple ones as well. Purple ones, they are landmarks as well, and you can only have one of the purple ones per player. So there we go.
No, one of each purple one.
Yes, one of each purple.
That's all.
I obviously couldn't see the colours to be able to, do it under the blindfold. So there we go. Oh, and the 2 coloured dice, they have absolutely no bearing on what colour they are.
We blame the die. We blame the blindfold.
Okay.
For not knowing the.
And that is Machi Koro.